Ben, I appreciate you coming out, man. It's good to have you here.
Sure, no problem. Glad to be here.
So we're seeing some anomalous radiation readings in the 22 to 27 microrem per hour area.
Okay.
And it's all seems to be associated with locations of cattle mutilations in the past.
Andy and Paul are at Thomas Miller Ranch, where 16 unexplained cattle mutilations have been documented since 1996.
So this thing has been completely disassembled now.
Yeah.
The team detected elevated radiation levels at the mutilation sites.
Here we're already at 20 microrems per hour. That's 100% higher than what we would see most places.
So Andy has now called in local geotechnical expert Ben Demeter to help with their investigation.
Well, there's a background radiation level in Colorado, like most places, that you have to factor in, which could be some of the readings you're picking up.
Interesting.
Just because of the inherent nature of the soil.
The Colorado average, is that higher or lower than other states?
Oh, it's higher, typically. You know, I'm kind of a skeptic, so it's going to show me if there's anything unique.
You know, when I started this trip, I was quite skeptical too, until we started seeing these sorts of connections.
We're starting out at 0.014 millirem.
My 15 microrem is your 0.015.
Yeah.
When you find radiation in the soil, does that mean anything one way or the other? Anything specific or particular?
Well, it all depends on the level, right? If it exceeds the normal background radiation, then you have to investigate a little further.
All right, we're right at our site. You see this orange flag right here?
Oh, I see. A dead little cow.
Yep.
All right.
Now, each of these flags kind of marks a location where there's an exposed bone.
Okay.
Obviously, the snow has covered some of these up. What are you seeing in terms of?
We're reading higher than we were when we started out. 0.025 millirem.
So you're seeing very similar readings to what we saw. 22 microrems, or your 0.022 millirems.
Right.
This is really encouraging to get a second professional, a second set of equipment, getting the same readings.
Yeah. Well, maybe there is something to it. Let's see. But it's not consistent. It just keeps jumping around. That is odd. Now we're down to 0.017.
What would explain that?
I don't know. This is odd.
Welcome to my world, man.
Yeah.
So you're not used to seeing this much variance?
I'm not.
Even in Colorado, even in this area where you've built your career?
No, I haven't seen it.
That's so wild to me, man. Seeing variability like this in the radiation level is really very strange, and there's no reason that that should be happening here in nature, especially not in an open ranch on the edge of a mountain range that has elevated radiation levels.
Take a little closer reading here and see if we get any action. Well, kind of neutral. Nope. 0.02.
There you go. That's our 21 and our 20 microrems, and you're seeing as well. There's absolutely something here causing these variabilities in radiation.
So that is interesting. We don't know if it's a result of the geology of the area or the vivisection of the little critter here.
Yep, that's exactly our open question.
Now it's back down again. Huh. I don't have a good explanation of why it jumps up and down.
It makes me feel really good to hear you, because I haven't had an explanation for most of what I've seen on this place.
Yeah, I'll do a little research on that. That is odd.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, back here is where it's spiked up for some reason, too. It's interesting. It spikes up to 0.02425 again, so
we go from higher radiation, about 10 yards away,
to low.
and then back into high again.
Backs up again.
You know, part of what the ranchers here believe is that the cattle were actually picked up and moved. So it makes me wonder if we're picking up remnants of whatever may have moved them.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but I suppose anything's possible, right? We don't have a clear explanation right now.
Have you seen this before?
No, I haven't. Yeah, it's interesting. Certainly like to know why.
All right, so we've relocated now to the primary current residence for the ranch owners.
Yep.
And we're gonna get our control sample out here in the open field.
Okay.
In an area that's not close to any mutilation sites.
It's not as variable. Have you noticed that? It
That's
is
interesting.
relatively static.
It does seem like we're here at 27 microrems right now, 26, 25, stable and strong and high.
Yeah. That reading, again, is consistent with the background, normal background radiation.
I mean, we've been seeing variations as much as 300% up and down where the cattle were mutilated.
Right.
But here at the control site, variations are only as small as 2 or 3 micrograms. So what's the skeptic inside you saying right now?
Always a skeptic. You know, always. But it certainly gives me pause. I need sometimes things just shoved into my face before I believe it.
I can respect that.
Yeah.